But there were no EF5 tornadoes reported last year, in fact. But how many have happened here in the Pacific Northwest? That brings us to our Ask the Meteorologist question of the week, sent in by Brockton Cox. And he wonders how many tornadoes have been recorded in the Pacific Northwest. So let's look at them. All of those yellow points on your screen are tornadoes that have occurred in the Pacific Northwest, and looking at them, most have occurred between the hours of 10 a.m. and 9 p.m. and most of them were EF0s or EF1s, but an EF3 did occur on April 5th. That had a 9-mile path. If you recall, the Moore, Oklahoma path was 17 miles, and that occurred back in April of 1972 in Southwest Oregon in particular. 5 EF0s have been reported, and 1 EF1 has been reported. So what is an EF scale? Well, the Enhanced Fujita scale is a revamping of the F scale, the Fujita scale that was originally in place, and it is based on damage and using that damage to estimate wind speed. So these 3-second wind gusts are actually estimates. The National Weather Service goes in after the fact and assesses the damage, and things that they look at is damage to solid structures, how far a car is picked up and thrown. And that's some of the things that they were looking at, and decided that the tornado in Moore, Oklahoma had wind speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour. So let's look at this. You be the judge. You tell me. Here's a look at a tornado hit this town and there was damage to this home. What do you think it was? An EF0, an EF1, an EF4? Well, it's not on a solid base, and that determined that it was actually only an EF1 tornado. EF0s and EF1s, even though they aren't as big as an EF5, are still no laughing matter. They are very serious. Here's a look at the Moore, Oklahoma EF5 17-mile path. It was 1.3 miles wide. An EF5 tornado does not need to be that wide, but just check out this path that it just destroyed this town. This tornado that actually happened a couple of years ago in Smithville, Mississippi, is the one that I've heard the worst stories about. Was actually a very narrow tornado, and they estimated that it was an EF5 because it picked up a pickup truck, threw it into a water tower, and threw it another mile. That is some powerful winds, and the way that the National Weather Service determined that it was that the same car was there was that it had matching paint. So tornadoes are no joking matter, and it is very important to know where your safe places are. Luckily for us, in the Southwest Oregon, Northern California area, they are very rare. If you want to ask a question, head to our website, kdrv.com, click on the Storm Watch 12 Weather in the Classroom banner.